Welcome back. Yep, entertainment guy video today. As I feel like it. Sure, why not? So I wanted to just touch on this because I've started seeing that again on the channel, and I guarantee I'm going to be seeing it a lot on my channel in the upcoming week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. The one at the top is the one I always get a kick out of. It's something that I do see, and there I'm going to break it to you. It's true. You made this for clicks. See, when your job is to make videos that people click on and they watch, generally the more people that click on them, the more revenue that video is going to make. Not just for me, but for YouTube as well. So with YouTube, their split is such that they want to make sure I make the most money I can, and I do my best to balance it. Like, for instance, I've talked about this before. Previews and reviews that I do on my main channel, that's not the best way to make money. Some of the review videos do really well. Once they get into the playoffs, especially, some of those reviews do really well, and they can perform well for years after they happen, because they could be historic games where I'm describing, play by play what's happened. But in general, the ones during the regular season, yeah, they don't do that well, especially if there's only 3 or 4 games on, that kind of thing. But it is part of my brand that I watch all the games and I review all the games, and I do my best to make that happen. And honestly, I do enjoy that. I do think that it suits my channel most. But then when I make a video that's, gone viral, and that's happened at times, I'll see that you made this for clicks. Yeah, every YouTuber does. If a YouTuber's like, I'm not saying that like every YouTuber does it for maximum clicks. There's a difference between hoping people watch your video and that it's successful, and just saying, you know what, I'm just going to talk about the most popular thing today, which I don't do. I honestly, I don't get into all that. Obviously, on this channel, the growth's been a lot slower than it was on the hockey channel, and understandable. There isn't as much content on this channel, and it can be kind of all over the place. I get it. But calling it Shannon's Crap Shack probably doesn't work either. So, entertainment guy stays. So, the one thing too that I've noticed is a lot of people get mad about the advertising, and I know a lot of people use ad blocker when they're on YouTube, which I don't begrudge anybody who does. I never have. I understand and have understood since before I had a channel that the ads help to pay the people that I'm watching in order to make sure they continue to make content. And that's kind of how I see it. There have been times where ads load and I go, all right, and I leave the room, go do something else, and I come back in when the actual video starts. I also, on my main account, not on this one as well, on my main account, I do have a paid subscription. I have YouTube Premium. The weird thing is, you would think, well, if your other accounts are all attached, wouldn't they be covered? No, I'd have to get a new YouTube Premium account for the account I used to post these videos as well, which I don't have. So there are times where I'm browsing YouTube and I realize I'm on the other channel, and so I'm going to start getting ads. So I'll actually switch users, go to my main account, because I know I'm already paying, so I don't have to see the advertisements. I understand that not everybody can do that not everybody wants to spend money on YouTube. But at the same time, without the ads, I'm not here. The set you see behind me, not here. And I'm still living in an apartment. I might still be where I was before. And the kind of coverage I've been able to do over the years, I definitely wouldn't have been able to take the trips I've taken over the years. Yeah, life would be completely different. And so those ads can be important, and it might seem like something minor to some people who just let them run, but it is a huge difference. I think it made up, last time I looked, I think it's 80% of my income via YouTube comes through that source with ad revenues. So YouTube Premium is supposed to pay at a higher rate, but most people don't have YouTube Premium. So while YouTube Premium is also a source of income, it definitely is the advertising that's most of it. But I think with the fact that once we reached a point as a society where we could just jump ad breaks, just skip over ad breaks, we don't have to worry about them anymore. And there was a lot of commercial-free television. I think we kind of became, all right, so we're a commercial-free society now. But stuff's got to get paid for. I do have a lot of paid subscriptions for various resources that I have that I use for the main channel. And of course, there's paid subscriptions I have for online services that I likely wouldn't have if not for having both channels. So, again, I understand that a lot of that can get expensive, but in this case, I'm just kind of talking about the advertising side of it. So, yeah, I understand the general hatred of it. I get it. The Rogers commercials can be highly aggravating, just as an example. There are other commercials that are aggravating. I've talked about that on the main channel recently, too. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and this is more of a me thing than anything else, thumbnails. I regularly get asked about thumbnails, and I get emails every now and then from somebody who's like, I can make you thumbnails. I've never really worried too much about thumbnails. Because honestly, a thumbnail doesn't make me click on a video or not. The title of a video will make me click on it. The subject of the video will make me click on it. Even if the title's not particularly engaging, if it's an interesting subject, I will click on the video. I have never said, what an amazing thumbnail, I'd better click on that video. In fact, if anything, there have been times where I've clicked on videos that have a professional looking, homemade, this is a new, great thumbnail, and then I click on the video, and the quality of the video can be really bad, or I can tell that like it's not a very well put together video, so I just click away. And for the record, I have never once on a YouTube video left a nasty comment under somebody else's video. I've never told anybody that they're terrible at it. I've never told anybody that I'm unsubscribing. I've unsubscribed from some channels. I've never done anything like that. So I always find it weird when people do that, because I'm like, I don't know what the purpose of that is. Because like, again, for me, I've been doing this for roughly 7 years. I'm not gonna make huge changes to how I run my channel based on somebody making a comment on a video on, you suck, do this different. Well, you make a very valid argument. Let's go ahead and discuss why I suck and how I can do this different. Sure. It's just so weird. And so the thumbnail argument comes into it too, of you do better if. Maybe, but I look at some of the most popular videos on YouTube, and I'm too old for that crap. Like, I look at some of those thumbnails, and I'm like, that's obviously just some clickbaity type thing where they're telling you you're going to get one thing and you get something else, which I've had people say clickbait about one of my recent videos, which it was not. Clickbait is, click here for the latest on, say, Jennifer Lawrence, the latest on Ryan Gosling. And you click on it, and it's an ad for something completely different. Right now on formerly known as Twitter, now known as X, most of the advertisements on there are clickbait or straight up scams. I'm impressed at how many advertisers there are right now for that platform who are clearly scamming you. Like, really just scamtastic. It is ridiculous that there's so many of them, but there's a lot. There's a lot of them. And so yeah, that to me is clickbait. That's the deceptive practices. I don't do that. I really don't. I stay out of that. And I figured that while I was at it with this subject matter, and again, the third period's going to be starting between New Jersey and the LA Kings. If you're not watching it, I wish I could give you a reason to watch the game, but I can't. It's just more frustration for me, and I'm not a Devils fan, but man, I'm frustrated with the Devils having the exact same problem every single night right now. But I wanted to throw in here too the get a real job part of things, because I've always found this weird, and I've always thought this is an odd way of us looking at it. That we view going to a job where somebody tells us what to do and when to do it, and if we don't do it the way they want it, we could get fired. That's a real job. But somebody being self-employed and putting out content that people want to watch doesn't count as a job. And I'm not sure I understand the why of it. And it's something that I've never had somebody explain to me where I go, oh, that makes sense. So yeah, I don't have a real job. Because again, I have to pay my income taxes. I have to declare everything. I have to make sure everything's up and up because, there's regular subjects back and forth between myself and the Canadian version of the IRS, which is CRA. And so it feels like a real job. I get taxed like it's a real job. I can't take any of the income I make and say, well, that's casual. That's not a real job. That's not real income, because if it was real income, then it'd be a job somebody else did. I do know that there are some that don't view it as being like a real job, but kind of feels like it is some days. There are some days where I'm like, be fun if I did something else. But as a friend of mine told me at one point when I expressed that to him, he said, "That's your job now. That's who you are, and just deal with it." So that was about 4 years ago, but it was honestly pretty solid advice of just, yeah, I understand that you don't want to make that video today, but you have to, and so just suck it up. And I was like, all right, so yeah, I have to. This is, and that to me says it's a job. When I have to do something, or else the internet's going to get upset. Well, why if it's not my job? So yeah, I get it. It is part and parcel with the job, and I accept that. Some days can be tougher than others, but yeah, I accept that. Anyways, there you go. I just wanted to have this video up for now, and then we can use this as a reference point for when the trade deadline comes and goes in the NHL, and people are saying I made things for clicks and all that other fun stuff. But thank you guys so much for all your support. Hit like and subscribe in the event that you have not so far. And hey, I will talk to you again someday soon from my, I think it's a real job. All right. Thanks again for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.